TJ, what's up, man?
Man, we got punched in the mouth pretty hard. And one thing I thought was interesting that you were mentioning earlier, you were like, this game doesn't really matter. It's, a game in March. And I do agree. I don't think it really matters in terms of like the long-term season. But I think this game does really matter in the sense that, teams like the Miami Heat, the Boston Celtics, other playoff teams are going to look at this and they're going to see what the game plan was that really neutralized this offense. I mean, we were putting up 120-plus points a game with Harden these first 5 games. And, man, I mean, we really got exposed tonight. This was a big black pill, I think, for a lot of fans. And, look, I'm not saying it's all doom and gloom. I don't think we're totally out of it. I think we can still figure things out. But, I mean, this looks very much like a Doc Rivers Sixers team. We've watched Doc for a couple of years now. And I think just the stalled ball movement, and I think really the defensive pressure from the Nets and the way they were able to neutralize Harden's game and really fluster him with a lot of pressure. I do think Steve Nash deserves a little bit of recognition for that, and really just having Andre Drummond be almost like a drop defender to keep Harden out really hurt his confidence, I think, early in the game. But another thing that I thought was really interesting was just the way James Harden really just was attacking the rim and just trying to get fouls. And this is really my biggest fear for the Sixers going into the playoffs is the reliance on getting to the foul line. I mean, we know Joel Embiid loves to get to the foul line. Harden, the super free throw bros, right? Mm. The problem with that is, though, in the postseason is that we're going to get in situations where the referees are not going to make those calls in the playoffs. They hold their whistles in the playoffs.
They held their whistle in this game, yeah.
Yeah, and they helped. Yeah, because this was very much like a playoff game, and that's why I'm kind of scared in a little bit. And I'm not panicking. I'm not hitting the panic button quite yet, but I mean, the blowout loss to the Heat. I know we didn't have Harden, and the blowout loss to the Celtics. I mean, those are teams we're going to be playing, and if we can't hang in those games, and I know with James Harden we'll probably hang in a little bit more, but I think just the reliance on going to the free throw line with this team. I mean, you can get away with it with these games in February and in March when, refs just don't really care and they're just blowing the whistle for whatever. But in the playoffs, they're not going to be blowing the whistle like this. They're not going to be calling these kind of fouls. And I mean, there was literally shots that Joel and James Harden were shooting tonight where they were just literally chucking it up and hoping to get calls. And you're just not going to get those calls in the playoffs. And I think if we can't figure out a half-court game with this team, and I mean, we still have time. That's why I'm not panicking quite yet. But, if we can't figure that out, I'm going to be calling you back in a couple of months saying, here we are. So, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's doom and gloom like a lot of Sixers fans are saying, but I think there's a lot to be concerned with in this game.
Yeah, there's probably a lot to be concerned with, yeah. Harden was just – he wasn't doing what he did in the first 5 games. It was a lot. It had a lot to do with their defensive philosophy and what they were doing to him around screens and things like that. But I just feel like once he once he was 1 for 9 in the first quarter, it was like over for him. He was like, all right, I don't know what to do. I can't make a shot, so I don't know what else to do because I can't. You're right, Drummond in there and stuff. He was having trouble doing anything else besides shooting from the perimeter.
Yeah.
And him.
And I mean, he was getting timid with Goran Dragic guarding him.
Yeah, it was a really bad game.
I mean, it was.
But I agree. I agree. Driving the lane and really trying to get fouled is not going to work. It's not going to. It hasn't worked for a year. They stopped giving him those calls, last year, the year before that. And in his career, he's gotten to the line a lot. And then when the playoffs start, he doesn't get those calls and he gets frustrated. So, yeah, I'm going to admit that he looked like in this game what he looked like sometimes in the playoffs where he would get frustrated that he's not getting those foul calls. So,
Exactly. And I think that's really what kind of – I was just going to say that, like, I just think that's really what is scaring me a little bit with this. And, like, this was a playoff atmosphere. I mean, and there was a lot of emotion in this game. I understand that, with Simmons being there, wearing his Louis Vuitton and trying to flex, even though he didn't do anything. But, I think just the way that Brooklyn defended us, Miami is going to look at this for sure and lick their lips. And same with teams like Boston and it's scary in that way, man. But at the same time, can we figure this out? It's going to be up to Doc Rivers. It really is, and that's scary because I have not been a fan of Doc Rivers since he was hired by this team. And now we're kind of in a position where we're really going to be leaning on his game planning in the latter half of the season with a team that can't shoot the ball consistently. So, yeah, a lot of question marks here. But, I mean, like I said, with James Harden, though, we'll see what happens. It's just the shot creation needs to be there. And yeah, I mean, this was just a poor shooting night. And, I mean, I'm not going to put too much stock in just a game in March, but at the same time, there's a lot for other teams to look at here and really get excited with. So, you know, it is what it is. I guess we'll move on.
We're going to hear it all for the next week and a half, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
I'm
turning off.
Until we, win another big game.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're going to hear it. Until we win another big game, we're going to hear it from the national media now for forever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith is going to be on saying we lost the trade and I was right and Daryl Morey stinks and all that. You know, he's going to have his thought, but who cares? That's all smoke and mirrors, and let's just go out there and keep trying to win. I mean, they just got to figure it out. And I think personally, real quick, I think George Niang should be in the starting lineup, and I think we should have Tobias in the second unit. And I know Tobias looked good tonight, but I think George Niang fits better with the starting lineup. And I know Romp and some of the other guys fit this too.
Yeah, we've been saying.
But yeah, I really do agree with that. Yeah, I really do agree with that. I think that's something that Doc should do. But knowing Doc, he's going to play Korkmaz unnecessary minutes. He's gonna sit all of our young talent. So I think until Doc goes, I'm just I don't know. It's interesting. That's for sure.
I honestly think until Tobias Harris goes and we spend money on stronger bench players, we might not have enough to win at all.
Yeah, we got to dump that salary regardless of what happens this postseason. We got to dump that salary and either get shooting or maybe get a Bradley Beal. If that's on the table, probably not. But if it is, take that. But if not, at least get some guys that can hit some open shots. I mean, Matisse Thybulle was horrendous tonight. But one more quick thing. DeAndre Jordan was very impressive as a backup big, because that was a big question for me after the Harden trade was who's going to be the backup big? They had tried Cauley Stein, that didn't work, but I think DeAndre Jordan could be an interesting piece. I like that fit a lot as a rim runner and rebounder.
Yeah, I was happy right when they signed him, because I was just watching some of his plays from even in LA. He still had a couple of he looked like he still has bounce. He's 6'11" and he can jump high. You just need him to get rebounds and block shots and catch a couple lobs for 10 minutes. I mean,
Yeah, and he did that tonight. He had 10 points and 9 rebounds in a very short amount of time. So I think we may have found that piece. But again, like I said, the reliance on fouls is going to be a problem, and I think also just the lack of depth at shooting is obviously going to kill us in the playoffs. But could it be another second round out, or is there something here with this? I don't know. Well, only time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, only time will tell. All I know is this game was going to be forgotten about in 2 days.
Probably, yeah. Only the media will hang on to this heavy because, they love being down on the Sixers. But, I agree, though. In the grand scheme of things, it's just a game in March, folks. It is.
Yeah, it is. Yo, thanks for the call, TJ. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to have you on my show at some point. So
come on, man. All right, man. Hit me up. See you.
All right.